That was the end of an exciting 30 days game of cricket. With a shocking move, Team Australia earned the title of world champions under the captaincy of Alan Border. Zimbabwe beats Holland in ICC Championship to earn the only position which was allocated to associate nations. All their 6 games were placed in India. It's a new experience for them because this is the first time they traveling to India. John Trayacos was appointed as the new Zimbabwe captain. On their second appearance in World Cup, they were not being able to win a single game.
And up she goes again. Fine effort there. Straight down the throat of Wild. And Sunil Gavaskar is stumped down the leg side. Brilliant bit of keeping by.
Houghton had a good series. He scored 226 in their 6 games, including a massive 142 runs against New Zealand. This was the second best innings of the competition.
Wonderful fine hook there. And they've gone a long way. It's a very long way.
In overall best partnership list, they earned 2 slots. 117 runs for the 8th wicket and 36 runs for the last wicket are the best among the lists. Altogether there were 15 century stands and 182 for 3rd is the best. In addition to this, Edo Brandis is the player who maintained the best strike rate in the tournament. In 3 innings he was able to maintain a strike rate of 140. Not a good season for Team New Zealand as well. As the 3rd of Group A, they were able to beat only Zimbabwe, twice. With 350s, Martin Crowe became the top scoring batsman after scoring 222 runs in 6 matches. Watson took 7 wickets in the series.
Lovely shot again.
Martin Crowe, not only with the bat, he was able to keep a slot in the fielding as well. With 4 catches in 6 games, he ranked at number 3. Kapil took 5 catches and ranked number 1 in the list. 2 times world champions and runners-up last time, Team West Indies thumped out in the first round this time. They won only 3 matches, they beat Sri Lanka twice and hosting nation Pakistan once.
What a tremendous victory for Pakistan. 2 runs have been scored, Pakistan 217 for 9, and Richard does not please at all. And that's the jubilation. Hasib Hassan and the others cheering Abdul Qadir.
With 391 runs including a massive century and 350s, skipper Viv Richards leads the team from the front.
Whipping inside that, away to square leg, nonchalantly. His first bowled in the match. One of the great shots from one of the great players. Second 6 for Viv Richards. What a great feat for the people of Jaipur to see the great Vivian Richards. Second, colossal 6. 2 in 2 balls. Just beats the fielder down a deep square leg. And Richards is beginning to cut loose.
Richards' knock of 181 broke many records, including highest innings ever in World Cups. Including his 100, there were 11 centuries scored this time. Out of that, West Indies and Pakistan scored 3 each. Well, even though they lost, they still able to keep the spirit of the game. Welsh's act against Pakistan was a good example.
12 runs have so far been scored in the last over. Welsh now to Abdul Qadir. The field has come in. Well, yes, that's a warning to Salim Jafar. time I'll run you out.
That's a very good gesture.
Yes, very good gesture.
Even though they short of firepower like previous editions, Patterson did a remarkable job by taking 14 wickets.
Yorked. Patterson striking a telling blow in the very first over. Watch it again. From close to the stumps, straight ball into the block hole, and Manama very slow in bringing down that ball, not able to keep it out, yorked by Patterson for naught.
Pakistan came strong in group stage and lost in semi-finals this time as well.
It's in the air. That's it. 4 runs. And Pakistan have won. Superb win for Pakistan, and the celebrations, I can promise you, will be going on here at Karachi an awful long time. They have really made a deep impression.
Ramiz Raja scored 349 runs with a century and 2 50s and ended as the 6th most run getter.
Fine shot. Oh, a great throw by Gatting, but Ramiz Raja has got his century and deserves the acclaim.
Skipper Imran was leading from front. He took 17 wickets, second highest wicket taker of the tour in addition to his 147 runs from bat.
Straightforward catch. There's an appeal for LBW and a crack. The 9th wicket out. Portly Walsh out. That's the end of the West Indian innings. Imran's bowled Baptiste.
There were 3 centurions in their team. Their 297 for 7 against Sri Lanka was the second highest team total. West Indies dominated this record by breaking the existing world record. Pakistan skipper Imran stepped down from international arena after the loss. Since his first ever one-day appearance in 1974, he played 102 matches and scored 1,785 runs with a century and 5 50s. With the ball he took 117 wickets. Like his couple of previous retirements, this also gone in vain. Imran came back into the action again in 1988, participating to a tour in West Indies.
It's out. Louis out. Port Sarfraz bowled Imran. It's 8 for 187. The devil number strikes again.
And that's his second wicket. He's comprehensively finished him off. That's really outstanding bowling. And he's touched it, and that's the end. Just managed to get the edge. Carried to Ashraf, the end of the Australian innings for 208.
But his 6 wickets against India kept the place in all-time best list for some time.
Deafening roar of approval of this packed stadium. There's an appeal for LBW and he's out! The first ball. That's up in the air, he could be gone out, and yes, he's gone. There's an appeal for a catch behind and he's gone. Imran has struck again. He's going to be out caught and he's gone. Imran has struck again.
Imran to Amarnath. He's out. 5th wicket gone. Amarnath bowled and in his 5th wicket.
He could be out caught and he's gone. A great, magnificent catch by the wicketkeeper. What a tremendous catch by Ashraf and Imran.
Defending champion India not had a great season like previous edition. After losing to England in semi-finals they were thumped out of the competition. Even their skipper Kapil not up to the standards. He scored only 152 runs and took only 5 wickets this time.
India has silvered. But he's been caught. caught by Bruin playing a little too early in 3-5 across, and India in a bit of trouble now. 2 balls to go. Does he make it in singles? No, he doesn't. He goes to the wide swing and he's bowled. And Australia won this match. A tremendous effort.
Gavaskar had a good series this time. He was the top scorer for India with 300 runs with only Indian century in the last group game. He ranked number 9 in top scorer list. Sidhu with 276 runs listed second in Indian batting lineup.
Much better. Again, sweetly timed.
Not much of good performance for Indian spinners. Only Maninder Singh took 14 and ranked 4th in most wicket taker list. But Shastri and Sivaram Krishnan not among wickets.
Out caught. Good catch by Kapil.
Kiran Moore had a good series behind wickets. He was the highest wicket taker of 11 dismissals with 6 catches and 5 stumpings. On the match against Zimbabwe at Bombay he took 4 dismissals of 2 catches and 2 stumpings. India's little master, Sunil Gavaskar retired from international stage after the series. Starting his career in one-day internationals with England in 1974, he played 108 matches and scored 3,092 runs with a century and 27 50s.
There's the comparison. And Sunil Gavaskar is just starting to flow. Sureness about the stroke play now that Imran's out of the attack. Azharuddin and Gavaskar starting to middle the ball now. It's 3 for 67.
He hasn't done too badly. 20 runs there off 30 balls. Most of the runs coming on the onside. Rather like that. Lovely shot. Right off the meat of the bat. Zahi is after it. If it doesn't get to the boundary, they'll certainly run for. He's just picked it up and they'll turn for the 4th.
He took only 1 wicket and in the field he took 22 catches.
And he's out! Brilliantly caught by Gavaskar in the slips. Beautiful catch.
And that one's up in the air, and Gavaskar has caught him. Another brilliant catch. Off the gloves, possibly.
Shastri now to Salim Malik. That is gone. Straight to Gavaskar, and Pakistan has lost.
Up in the air, and he's out caught at first slip. Gavaskar's first catch, 4th catch, and
Path for the final was not a cakewalk for England. But they made the impossible possible. They were able to pass West Indies in group stage and kick out India in their home soil to reach finals.
Brilliant shot by Alan Lamb. Oh yes, oh yes. The Yorker became a full toss. Lamb was waltzing down outside leg stump. A very awkward bounce for the... down the leg side. 4 wide, 4 wide. So the extra ball. It's in the gap. It's there. Well played, Foster. And down go the heads of the West Indians. They played it so well, but were taken by the brilliance of Lamb. And see how Richards.
With a century and 3 50s, opening batsman Gooch played superb 471 runs. He was the highest run getter of the series. Not only him, but their skipper Gatting was the number 5 with 354 runs and Lamb was 10 with 299 runs. Gooch hit 45 fours during the series, which is the highest in the series. He hit 7 boundaries than Boone, who placed at second. Gooch not hit a single 6 in the series. On the other hand, West Indies skipper hit 10 6s and earned number 1 slot. India's top order batsman Sidhu hit 10 6s. Eddie Hemmings took 13 wickets, but it was De Freitas who put England on charge all the time. He took 12 wickets.
That's it, Bowden. Sunil Gavaskar has gone. And tremendous jubilation, understandably, by the England team out there. And that's a shattering blow, not only to the stumps of Gavaskar, but the whole morale of the 45,000 Indians who in Bombay come to worship him as one of the great gods of cricket. Of course so he is, but this time bowled De Freitas for 4, and in the third over, 7 for 1 wicket.
Just coming in, brushing the pad, straightening it out and whipping off stump out of the ground. And not only a shattering blow to the...
Australia came to the tournament fully underrated. At a point, former Pakistan legend Zahir Abbas calling them as bunch of club cricketers. But at the end they swipe out mighty Pakistan in their own yard and ended up by winning the cup.
McDermott, over goes the middle stump. McDermott now to Westamaker. And yes, that's the wicket that Australia wanted. Westamaker looking really dangerous. But there he is now. Westamaker bowled Craig McDermott for 20. Caught behind, the faintest nick, and Salim Yusuf knew it. He was off, just pulled down short of that goal by Craig McDermott, and the middle nick taken by Greg Dyer. What a brave effort that was by Salim Yusuf.
Boone was their highest scorer with 447 runs. He was the second highest run getter after Gooch, and he scored 5 50s during the series. This included 50s in semi-final and finals. No one other able to score 50 or more runs more than 5 times. Jeff Marsh gave a good support to him as an opener by scoring 428 runs with 2 centuries. It was a superb series for McDermott with the ball. He was the highest wicket taker in so-called spinning-friendly Asian pitches. With his fast balls he took 18 wickets. On the other hand, their all-rounder Waugh took 11 wickets. McDermott was the only bowler who took 5-wicket haul this time. With his lethal fast bowling he destroyed Pakistan batting lineup in the semi-finals. Not only with the he took 4 against India at Chennai, which was famous as a spin-friendly wicket. World didn't know this back at 1987. But this was the starting step for Kangaroos for another world domination. Skipper Border utilized his young talent really well, and when needed he stepping up and doing his duty as a captain. So 1987 World Cup was a stage to new cricketing power for next couple of years.
Umpire bird. Imran Khan getting a huge reception.
Up it goes again. 5 wickets for McDermott. And that is a moment of tremendous jubilation and achievement, I must say, for Australia, who have done brilliantly to come into Pakistan, up to Lahore, to get through, to beat Pakistan, the favourites in the competition, and win the match by 8.
Despite by taking the matches between Pakistan at Hyderabad and with West Indies at Kanpur to a tense end, it was the worst series for Sri Lanka in World Cups.
It's all over. Imran didn't even throw the ball to the bowler's end. He just ran up to the wicket, had the bails of good presence of mind, and 252 all out. Pakistan have won by 15 runs. Their opening encounter in the 1987 World Cup.
Young opening batsman Roshan Mahanama made some explosive starts. In a game against Pakistan he scored 89. But he was not being able to go for big innings after that.
And it's 4 runs. Beautifully played. Down to deep square leg. And it's 4 runs.
Also he was superb in the field.
And that's a very fine catch. That's superbly taken. Manama. And that's the end of the British innings. A very fine catch indeed.
Sri Lankans' main blow was the form of middle order. Their main batsmen like Dias, Madugal, and Kurupia were not among runs.
Beautiful delivery, that ball moving away, and he gets his 99th wicket. Harper, of course, of the West Indies. Rolled in, that was on the card.
Skipper Duleep Mendes was on and off with the bat. He scored just 1 half-century, but ended up as second most run getter for Sri Lanka.
Superb shot. That was always going to be Foster. It was tremendous power behind. Bowled him. Very well bowled by the Freitas, and a strange innings that by Duleep Mendes. Kept batting away on leg stump, trying to force the offside, but the ball came back up the seam.
Sri Lankan all-rounder, Ravi Ratnayak was the only man among wickets. He took 10 in the series.
That was a pretty bad shot from Surafta.
Let's roll him. Khan.
He was trying everything. Yes. For a long.
So that's the end of Javed.
Arjuna was the only silver line in Sri Lanka dark period. With 350s he scored 252 in the series and ended up as the 14th best batsman.
Boundary in that ball game between Alan Lamb and Bill Affey for 4 runs.
Well, that's the way it's got to be done.
Also, Arjuna maintained the highest average. In his 5 games he kept 84 runs per innings average. Richards was the second on the list with 65.16 and Azharuddin with 63.33. This is the only area Sri Lankan were able to hold number 1 position. 3 Sri Lankans not called for the side again. So this was their unofficial retirement game. It was the last time for big stage seat for Sri Lankan medium-fast bowler Vinothan. He played 45 one-day internationals for Sri Lanka since 1982 and took 34 wickets. 3 times he took 3 wickets each, and 28 for 3 against New Zealand at 1983 was his best figures. With the bat he has not done much of a magic and scored only 84 runs and took 5 catches. John was the 27th player who earned Sri Lankan one-day cricket hat. In Sri Lankan he took 12 wickets and Australia was his second best. He took 10 on those bouncy pitches. This series he took just 1 wicket and he never appeared in Sri Lanka lineup after that.
So John Wright, he is absolutely annoyed with himself.
Ball is out, poor shot, ordinary delivery, tried to hook it away, straight to backward square leg, and a disappointing Jeffrey Howarth departs.
So it wasn't a really good delivery there from Vinothan John.
Picked up 2 early wickets coming back into the attack. Bowled him, and that's the breakthrough. Well done, Bill Mendes. He made the change. McEwen trying to pull on the onside, and Vinothan has broken through.
He's having a great day of it. That's his 3rd wicket now. And have a look at those.
Second Sri Lankan drop is for their ace fast bowler Ashantha. His last game was his 57th appearance and he took 59 wickets by the time. If we look his records, 1983 World Cup was his golden moment. He took 17 in that series, including 2 5-wickets hauls, including his best figures of 5 for 32 against New Zealand. In the bat he scored 466 runs and took 13 catches. Ashantha was Sri Lanka's 20th one-day cap. He took 20 wickets at home with the best figures of 4 for 34. He was having a very disastrous World Cup. Just 1 wicket for 184 runs in the series, and he got hammered 97 during his spell vs West Indies. He was Sri Lanka's ace in bowling some period, but he was never called for the side again.
And a lot of confidence, but he's hit a straight to the fieldsman, and that's well taken there by Karanine, the 12th man at mid-wicket. The ball was hit pretty well, but straight to the fieldsman.
So ends an 84-run association between David Boone and his captain Alan Border. A good catch there by Karanine. Wood retired Hurd at 87. These two became associated. Boone outstripped his skipper in scoring, his skipper catching up with him. Boone decides to force the play. Tarry.
A slower ball and well taken. Beautifully caught by the keeper. That was a fine catch, diving away to his left-hand side. It was the slower ball. Phillips hit the ground at the same time as he hit the ball. And the keeper really took a marvellous catch, diving away to his left-hand side.
Amal Silva, very agile behind those stumps. He's kept well all night, moving well to the leg spinner, Smachanda de Silva, and here he shows himself equally adept against the quicker bowlers. Diving well to his left as Wayne Phillips jabbed down on that ball.
Third and final drop was a surprise. It was Roy Dias, Sri Lankan ex-vice-captain and most stylish batsman Sri Lanka ever produced till date. In his carries since 1979 he played 58 games and scored 1,573 runs with 2 hundreds and 11 50s. Both the hundreds were scored against India in 1982. Also he helped to build 3 century stands. In field he took 16 catches and grabbed 3 wickets. Roy was the 15th one-day cap for Sri Lanka and he was not given an enough chance during the World Cup. He played the first and the last group game only. He went cheaply in the first game but scored stylish 80 in the last game against England. But he never called for the playing squad again. So, this was his last game for Sri Lanka.
Here for Larry Gomes, and he just gets around and fumbles it. Well, the vice-captain there, a blemish against his fielding record, had it in control, got around well. And then
That's beautifully timed, magnificent shot, and that brings up the 150 for Sri Lanka in the 36th over.
He's collecting his runs really quickly now. That's going to go away for 4. This is exactly what Sri Lanka want now. Australia will have a big score to go for.
Beautifully placed, a square drive, hit that off the middle of the bat.
Donald to Roy Dias.
In the air, high, difficult swirling catch. Border takes it.
So ends a fine innings, beautifully caught by Alan Border. And Roy Dias playing a masterly knock of 60 here this afternoon. Played all the shots, that was in to a good catch. The first wicket for Simon O'Donnell in the Benson Hedges World Series Cup matches. As Alan Border running with the ball, kept his eyes on it, took a fine catch.
So O'Donnell's first wicket for Australia. Dias out for 67 for 229.
There are major changes happened after this tour. Majorly Sri Lankan captain got dropped from side just after the tour. So, due to unavailability of captain, Sri Lanka captaincy got shifted to a new head, to Ranjan Madugal. He was appointed Arjuna as his deputy. It's a challenging time for young Sri Lanka because they have to go and meet new world champion Australia in their own backyard as the next series. Yes, one test in 1988 World Series lined up in front of Sri Lanka next with Australia and New Zealand. New chief for Lions family. First task is to go hunt in the land of kangaroos. Still, they were too young. Only just half a decade gone after earning the ICC full member status. Young lions, but who know, land of kangaroos might bring them fortune. After few months' time we can see how they grow.